What's up everyone? Alex here. As a recent convert to the Church of Souls-likes, I've been on a quest to try to find the next game to play after Elden Ring. And yes, I've dabbled in FromSoft games here and there, but for some reason, I just can't stick to one of them. I just kept bouncing from one to the other. And so when I heard about Steelrising and saw the trailers, I started getting really curious. And with its unique aesthetic and premise hooking me, I just had to try this game out. And so, in this video, I'm excited to share my experience with Steelrising, which is being developed by Spiders, who also developed the critically acclaimed Greedfall from 2019 and published by Nacon. Steelrising is out now on PS5, Series X and S, and PC. I've been playing Steelrising on my OMEN 16 laptop, and the footage that you'll see throughout this video is a combination of experimenting with two different graphics configurations, playing around with the texture quality and ray tracing. And in both instances, the game stayed at a stable frame rate. One really cool thing that I love about this laptop is that it has a system optimizer, which will turn off any unused Windows processes while you're playing games, so that your experience is silky smooth. This is a game changer, so check out OMEN's line of gaming computers at omen.com. So whenever you hear anybody talk about Souls-likes, a very specific image comes to mind. It's a game where you just can't mash buttons, with very punishing boss battles, with regular enemies that can beat the crap out of you. But let's distill it to its fundamentals and figure out a way to translate prior knowledge to what Steelrising has. In Steelrising, you get checkpoints called Vestals, where you can level up your stats, buy items, and the ability to pretty much equip different weapons and items conveniently in one place. Naturally, you can equip these items and pieces of equipment separately, but I just like that all of these are accessible in this one menu. And in case you've never played a Souls-like before, part of the experience is using items to earn currency to use to level up. In this particular case, Steelrising has Anima Spirit Essence. And one really neat quality of life feature that they put in this game is that you can see how much Spirit Essence you get when you use each Spirit Essence item, in addition to seeing how much Anima you have already. Keep in mind, this is a small quality of life feature that seems unnecessary because a lot of us have been used to dealing with this in FromSoft games, but I appreciate it immensely in this game because it gives the impression that the developers are thinking of ways to streamline the genre so that we get back into the action faster. Speaking of the action, the combat is fast-paced, though you're still able to read enemy tells in order to formulate your own strategy. Unique to Steelrising is the ability to do fast cooling, which allows you to quickly get your stamina back at the potential cost of getting frozen if you press the button late. And as you can imagine, getting frozen means you won't be able to move for a specific period of time, so you shouldn't really abuse this. As soon as this mechanic unlocked, it immediately reminded me of the quick reload functionality in Gears of War. And when you use this during battle, it allows you to keep piling on the offense, which is a great way to keep your momentum. Each weapon in Steelrising has an ability that uses an alchemical resource. Now, keep in mind that this alchemical resource is shared as ammo for guns and projectile weapons as well, but you can easily recharge these by defeating enemies. And in terms of the weapons, they are super fun to play with. And it kind of reminds me of the joy of trying out new weapons in a game like Monster Hunter, like the hunting horn. Because they're so unique, you want to learn how to make each weapon work as best as possible with the capabilities that you have in every situation. It's really neat. But how about for folks who are gun-shy and playing Souls-likes? Well, Steelrising has a very unique mode specific to it called Assist Mode, and you can enable 4 different things: damage reduction, the ability to keep Anima Essence after death, speed up your stamina regeneration, and perfect quick cooldowns. That being said, using this assist mode also disables difficulty-specific trophies and achievements. So if you really want to be able to get these trophies and achievements, you gotta play through the game without assist mode. And keep in mind, this assist mode only applies to your character, meaning all of the AI behaviors are still exactly the same as it was if you have assist off. I find that this assist mode is a great way to wet your toes a little bit with the different mechanics of Souls-likes. Naturally, by using assist mode, you technically are making things slightly easier, but the game is not handing you easy trophies just because you use these. You still have to replay through the game without it in order to earn these trophies and achievements, and I really appreciate that part. That being said, I've always felt that Souls-likes are conducive to repeated playthroughs anyway. It's almost like the game is easing you into this sort of play. That being said, I'm not so sure you really need assist mode, because what I found is that Steelrising is actually easier than FromSoft games. And this is particularly due to all of the options that's available to you. Like from the very beginning, they give you a ton of grenade types. You can also visibly see each enemy's stance, so you'll know when you're almost there to knock them over. Stance, by the way, allows you to momentarily stun an enemy after hitting them a set number of times. And normally in Souls games, this value is completely hidden. It's invisible, and you just have to kind of feel it. In Steelrising, it is literally shown as a diamond. And I also want to say that the jump attacks in Steelrising are super overpowered. I've used it so many times throughout my playthrough of the game that it is just absolutely something that you must do to deliver a ton of damage from both the actual damage that you're delivering enemies and also their stance. It's just so useful that you gotta use it. And also, you won't get lost in Steelrising's levels because of the way that they designed the world, and also there's a generous helping of shortcuts that kind of take you back to those Vestals, allowing you to upgrade your character in a consistent basis. What I also appreciate about the combat is that it just has enough structure that you still really can't mash your way through boss battles, but has enough leeway to allow for experimentation. Like, I feel like a lot of players who are new to the genre will find it comfortable to play with Steelrising systems. And I think that's very important when you're trying to onboard new people in something that they're completely unfamiliar with. I do find a lot of these combat and level design changes very fascinating because it's almost as though the developers want to create a Souls-like that's not as punishing as other games are known for in the genre. And I feel like even without the assist mode, the game is accessible enough that newcomers to the genre might find it comfortable to kind of experiment with their own builds, play around with different weapons, and really kind of appreciate what the genre has to offer. Keep in mind, I'm not saying that the future of Souls-like should be like this and everything should be easy. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I think having an entry point like this is super important so that more gamers can discover the beauty of this genre. But I gotta say, what really got me going in playing through Steelrising is its premise and atmosphere. Steelrising is set in an alternate reality timeline that's set at the height of the French aristocracy, where the king employs the use of automatons to prevent the French Revolution from happening. But unfortunately, he plunges the countryside and all of Paris in a mechanical hell that's plagued by roaming clockwork monstrosities. The developers call this kind of aesthetic clockpunk. This clockpunk aesthetic is really cool. They really had a clear vision of what they wanted to accomplish, and you can see that throughout the entirety of the game. And the sound design, just hearing the crunching of metal, the impactful sounds, these are the kind of sounds you want to hear when playing an action game, and it really feels like you're doing massive tons of damage, making it feel so satisfying in the process. That being said, the cutscenes that feature human characters do feel a little strange because of how they're animated, especially when you contrast them against an automaton like yourself. But personally, this wasn't a deal breaker for me. In fact, I kind of appreciated that these cutscenes kind of tell these stories a bit more. They kind of help flesh out the story and your plight throughout the entire game, and these really kind of give meaning to a lot of what you're doing. With regards to your automaton's appearance options, there's not a lot, but there's a decent enough selection that gets you going rather than being stuck there for hours. Some people like the options. I personally just want to get into the game right away, but still look cool, and having small options definitely allows me to do just that. All that said, the premise, the gameplay, the atmosphere, the art and sound design really kept me playing Steelrising, and I continue to do so even after I've finished it. That being said, hardcore Souls-like fans might find this game a bit too easy, but I do appreciate that it's taking risks in order to allow more people to experience the magic of the genre. Because Souls-likes are so much more than just its difficulty. There's so much mechanical nuance that can be learned, fun bosses to fight here and there, and these wonderful atmospheres that really envelop us and hook us in and makes us play through these games for hours. And if you're looking for just that, or a brief interlude between Souls games, Steelrising will definitely fit the bill. And that, my friends, is my review of Steelrising. If you're thinking of picking up the game, please use the links in the description of this video. Every little purchase helps the channel out tremendously, especially given that Fanatical has a sale on this game on PC. And more importantly, I want to hear what you think after watching this video. Post your thoughts in the comments below and let's talk about it. And if you like RPGs, Japanese games, niche titles, indies, and more, please consider giving this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.